am Priya, PhD Department, Assistant Professor, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research, Chennai. In object-oriented programming, I am going to explain C++ advanced features. Memory management. Memory means we know to store the space, to store the data in memory. So there are two types of memory, static memory, dynamic memory. Static memory, until now, we have only learned about static memory. Memory is allocated at compilation time. Declaration of large memory variables must be determined before the program is compiled. Example, in students of 10. What if we don't know the exact number of students in advance? It's dynamic memory. We can ask for memory while the program is running. We can allocate and release memory ourselves. More powerful programming ability. Static versus dynamic objects. Dynamic objects. So here in this side static objects, the next side dynamic objects we will see. So memory is acquired automatically. Memory is returned automatically when the object goes out of scope. That is static object. Dynamic object. Memory is acquired by program with an allocation request. That is new operation. Dynamic objects can exist beyond the function in which they were allocated. Object memory is returned by a deallocation request, that is delete operation. So here we are going to see C++ classes and objects. C++ is an object-oriented programming language. Everything in C++ is associated with classes and objects along with its attributes and methods. For example, in real life, a car is an object. The car has attributes such as weight and color, and methods such as drive and brake. Attributes and methods are basically variables and functions that belong to the class. These are often referred to as class member. A class is a user-defined data type that we can use in our program, and it works as an object constructor or a blueprint for creating the object. Let's see one example, addition of two numbers. Hash include IO stream, that means header file. IO means input output. For getting the input and for displaying the output, we will use IO stream.h. Int main, so we can use void main also. If we use int main, we have to use return 0. If we are using void main, no need of return 0. So int main, opening braces, int a, b, c. Here we have declared three variables a, b, c. The three variables are integers. So now we are going to display the output as enter two integers to add. So in our output screen, we will get the output enter two integers to add. So cout is the keyword to display the statement in the output screen. Next, we are going to get the number C in A, C in B. That means we are going to get two values. Finally, so we have get two values. That values are stored in two variables A and B. Variable is nothing but it is used to store the values. Now we do the calculation part. C is equal to A plus B. C is equal to A plus B. What is the A value we have given and what is the B value we have given? We have to add the two values. See out sum of the numbers. So we have to display what in which variable we have stored our result. That variable we need to display. So C will be displayed. Finally, return 0. Return 0, why we have used return 0? Because we have used integer, so we have used return 0. If you have used void, no need of the return 0. So let's see the output. Enter two integers to add 10, 20. Sum of the numbers 30. So we will get the output. We have seen the addition program. Next, we are going to see the same addition program by using classes and objects. Our header file is iostring.h. That means input output. Of getting the input and for displaying the output, we have used iostring.h. Class addition. So our class name, opening braces. So addition is our class name, opening braces. Here we have used two variables, x and y. X in the public part, we are going to use the method, or we can call it a function, void input. That is the method we have used. So cout enter two integers. Now we are going to view two integers, C in x and y. So we are going to view the two values x and y. Finally, we have to close the function. Next, we are going to use another one function, void add. So in this function, just displaying the calculation value x plus y. So in the first function, we have just get the two values, and in the second function, we are going to add the values and display the values. So next, we have to close the function. Finally, we have closed the braces with a semicolon. Why we have closed the braces with a semicolon? To close the class. How can we close the class? We have to close the class by using closing braces with a semicolon. So our class name is addition. In that addition, we have used two variables x and y. Here we didn't use another extra variable to store the values directly, because in the second function we have directly calculating the values and displaying the values. So we have used two variables and two functions. One is input and another one is add. In the input function we have getting two values, and add function we have displayed the calculation part. Finally, we have closed the class with opening closing braces with the semicolon. Next, we have to go to the main. We will give void main or int main. If we are giving void main, no need of return 0. If we have to give int main, there is a return 0. So int main of addition, that is the class name. We have used that class name. So for that class name, we have to create an object. So the object that we have created is M. So what is the syntax for creating an object? Class name, object name. That is the syntax to create an object. So here our class name is addition, our object name is M. Next, we have to call our function. How to call our function? We have to use our object, then only we have to call our function. Our object name is M. So M dot input. Our function is M input. So M dot input. So when we are calling, it will go to the input function and it will do what are the process we have done. It will perform all the process. So there we have displayed two integers and we have got two values x and y. After finishing that, it will come back to the line that we have started. So it will come to the next line. Our next line is m dot add. So m is the object, add is the another function. So we have to call the another function. What is the syntax for calling the function? Object name dot function name. So our object name is m, our function name is add. Now it will call the second function. So here we have done the calculation process and displays the message. Our calculation process is x plus y. So it displays the message. Next, it is after once it is performed all the two functions, it will come to return 0. So now what is our output? Here we have used one class. In that class we have used two variables and two functions. Finally, we have created one object. By using that object, we have called the two functions. So let's see what is the output for the same output only. Output, enter two integers, we will give two values. Sum of the integers output is 30. So in the previous example, we have seen addition of two numbers by not using classes and objects. In the second example, we have seen addition of two numbers by using classes and objects. If it is class means we have to create object. So by creating object, we have to call the functions. What is the use of functions? So no need of, if you want to call a particular function for more times, so no need to write the function again and again. We have to just call it. How many times do we want? We just call it, that's it. So we will save our time by using the function calling. So our next topic is inheritance. Inheritance is a process in which one object acquires all the properties and behaviors of its parent object automatically. In such a way, you can reuse, extend, or modify the attributes and behaviors which are defined in another class. In C++, the class which inherits the members of another class is called derived class, and the class whose members are inherited is called base class. That means, in another way, base class, derived class. We can call it as base class. That is the base for all the classes. Base class, derived class. Base class is otherwise known as parent class. Derived class is otherwise known as child class. Base class, the derived class derives some properties of the base class. Let's see one example. For example, if the the children should be looks like their parents, so the children's character also like their parents. So children is the derived class, parent is the base class. So the children derive the properties of the parents. So that is the best example. So derived class, base class. Base class is otherwise known as superclass, parent class. Superclass or parent class. Derived class is otherwise known as subclass or child class. So it supports 5 types of inheritance: single inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hybrid inheritance. So we will see how many types of inheritance are there. So let's see one example. Include IO stream, class account, public, float salary. So here our class name is account. In that we have given float salary is equal to 60,000. We have closed that class. Closed that class. How can we know we have closed that class? We are closing the classes always with the closing braces with a semicolon. So we have closed that class. Next we are going to use another class, class programmer, public account. That means what is this? Programmer is the derived class, account is the base class. So how can we use inheritance here? Class, derived class name, colon, public, base class name. Our base class name is account, derived class name is programmer. So here we have opening, again public, float bonus. Why we have given bonus as float? Sometimes it will be coming in decimals. So if it is coming in decimals, it is easy to declare it as float. So we can declare it as float. In the salary also like that. Sometimes it will be coming in decimals. So we have to declare it as float. Okay. We have to close this second class also. That means programmer class also. How can we close the classes? With the semicolon. Next. Here only with the void main starts. So C is the top-down approach. C++ is the bottom-up approach. Always the main starts with the bottom. So here also look at this program. The void main at the bottom of the program. Void main, opening braces, the same concept only. We have to create object for our class. So we have used 2 classes. Which class do we want to create object? Yes, of course, we have to create object for the second class. Because in the second class, it has the properties of the first class also. But in the first class, it doesn't have the properties of the second class. But in the second class, it has the properties of the first class. So we have to create object for the second class. That means programmer. So programmer P1. P1 is the object we have created for the class. Next, we are going to display the values. For that, we have given Cout. That means P1 dot salary. So how can we call our functions? We have to use our object. That means P1 dot salary. Our salary will be displayed. P1 dot bonus. Our bonus will be displayed. So totally here two classes we have used here. One is base class and another one is derived class. Base class, derived class derives the properties of the base class. So if you want to create an object, we have to create object for the derived class because it consists of both the properties of base class and the derived class. Why we are mentioning it as float? Because salary and bonus sometimes it will be coming in decimal, so it is better to use in float instead of integer. So single inheritance means there is only one base class and one derived class. Let's see the next one, multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance. Here also we have used the header file, hash include IO stream. Let's see how many classes we are going to use. Class A. In the class A, let's see how many classes. We have used three classes. Class A, class B and class C. In the class A, we have used only one variable, that is 5. Next, we have used one method, but here we won't say it as method because the class name and the method name should be same. If class name and the method name should be same, then we can call it as constructor. So here we have to call it as constructor. Constructor, in that constructor, it has to display the value. Message constructor for class A. So constructor for class A, it has to display. You have to close it by using the semicolon. This is for class A. Next for class B, same like that. Here also we have used one more variable B and we have assigned the value 10. So here also we have used constructor. How can we say it is constructor? Because the class name and the function name should be same. So in that constructor we have displayed one message constructor for class B. Endl is nothing but it shows in the next line. It shows the next line. Next class C. So here only we have used the inheritance concept, that means public A, public B. So we have used three classes, class A, class B, class C. In the class C we inherited a class A and a class B. So here we have used another variable C is equal to 20. We have used the constructor. How can we call it as constructor? Because the class name and the function name should be same. Constructor. Cout constructor for class C. We have displayed two messages. The first message is constructor for class C, and in the second message, class C inherits from class A and class B. So then we have to close it by using semicolon. So totally three classes we have used, class A, class B, class C. And in the class A we have used constructor, class B we have used constructor, and the class C also we have used constructor. Next, come to the void main. We will use void main or int main, anything is possible. So int main here we have used. So we have used totally three classes. In which class we have to create object? Already we have explained in the first concept, that means single inheritance. We have seen two classes, that means base class and derived class. There only one base class, one derived class. So we have created object for the derived class. Here also we have to create object for the derived class. Which is the derived class here? Obviously C is the derived class here. So C derives the properties of class A and class B. So what is in class A that should be comes in class C. What is in class B that should be comes in class C. So we have to create object for C class. So we have to display the messages C out obj, that means object. We have created the object name is obj for the class C. We have to call the values obj.a. That means what value we have given for a variable that should be coming. Next, after finishing this obj.b, that means what value we have given for the b variable that will be coming. Next to obj.c, what value we have given for the c variable? We have given 20 for the c, that should be displayed in the output. Then finally return 0. Why we have used return 0? Because it is integer. If it is integer means we have to use return 0. If it is void means we no need of use return 0. So look at the output. Constructor for class A, constructor for class B, constructor for class C. Class C inherits from class A and class C. A is equal to 5, B is equal to 10, C is equal to 20. Next, multi-level inheritance. Here include IO string using namespace standard. Here class base. We have given the name as base. Opening braces, public, integer x. That means we have used one variable that is x. Void get data. We have used the function name as get data. Next, we have entered the value of x. That means after that we have give scene of x. So here we have used one variable, one method. Here it is no constructor because class name and the function name should be different. So it is not a constructor. Get data we have used. Cout enter value of x, cin of x. So we have to close the class by using semicolon. Next, derived class. We are going to use two derived class. For that we are using derived one. We are going to inherit the properties of the base class. So base, public base. Here we have used the inheritance. Class, derived class name, colon, public base class name. We have to open it. Here we have declared another variable y. We have to use another function void read data. So we have to display the value and then we have to get the value. So in the first base class we have used x value. In the second one we have used y value. The first one we will get the x value and the second one we have get the y value. Look at the third class, that means derived 2. We are going to derive public derive 1. So that means previous class. Here, what is the concept of this means the base class, the derived class derives the properties of the base class. Now the derived class acts as the base class because another one class is going to derive this derived class. So this derived class acts as the base class for the next derived class. Here also first class is base class, second class is derived 1, third class is derived 2. The base class acts as the base class for the derived 1. Derived class acts as the base class for the derived 2 now. Here we are going to use the variable z. Z, we are using the method in data. Here we are going to get the value and display the values of z. Going to use another one method, that means product. What is the purpose of this? To multiply all the values. Why do we need to multiply the values? Because in the base we have used x value, in the derived one we have used y value, and the derived two we have used z value. So all the content should be derived and it will be in which class? Derived. So if you want to create object, we have to create, is it possible to create object for the derived one or base class? It is possible to create object for the derived two only because derived two have the characters of base class and the derived class. So when we are going to create an object, we have to create object for the derived to only. So in the in the first base class, we have used one x value, we have used one get data function, and in the second class, we have used y variable and read data, and in the third base class, we have used z variable. We have used here two methods, that means in data product. In data is used to get the z value, product is used to multiply all the x, y, z values. So here we are going to use our void main or int main. If it is void main means no need of return 0. If it is int main means there should be a return 0. Derive, that means derive to, that is our last class, derive to a. We have created object for the derive to. A dot get data that we have used in the base class, A dot read data that we have used in the derived one, A dot in data that we have used in the derived two, A dot product. This is also we have used in the last one derived two. Finally, we will get the output and the value of x is equal to 0, value of y is equal to 3, value of z is equal to 3, product is equal to 8. Next one, so that's all about inheritance. Inheritance means the base class is there, derived class is there, derived class derives the properties of the base class, that is said to be inheritance. Next, new one, delete operators in C++. New operator allocates memory for a variable or any other entity. The general syntax of the new operator is point variable of data type, new data type. The data type mentioned above can be of any valid data type in C++. It can be a built-in data type or any user-defined data, including classes and structures. The delete operator, the memory allocated dynamically using the new operator, has to be freed explicitly by the programmer. For this purpose, we are provided with the delete operator. The general syntax of the delete operator is delete pointer variable. So we can free the memory allocated to the pointer variable above as follows. How we can delete it? Delete pointer. Next we are going to see CGI, the Common Gateway Interface. It is a set of standards that define how information is exchanged between the web server and the custom script. The CGI specs are currently maintained by the NCSA and the NCSA-D. The Common Gateway Interface or CGI is the standard for external gateway programs to interface with information servers such as HTTP servers. The current version is CGI 1.1 and CGI 1.2. To understand the concept of CGI, let's see what happens when we click a hyperlink to browse the particular web page or URL. Your browser contacts the HTTP web server and demands for the URL, that is file name. Web server will parse the URL and it will finally complete a standard protocol for enabling applications. Thank you.